everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Flow University YouTube channel and the first episode of the 2024 calendar year. This year, we will be attacking fitness from every single perspective and angle in order to give you, the viewer, the proper understanding of fitness so that you can use this mechanism properly going forward into the new year and for the rest of your life in order to improve your longevity, quality, and the vitality of things so that you can experience the fullness and everything that this life truly has to offer. You are capable of limitless things, and your potential is unfathomable and it can expand infinitely. But you have to realize this and understand such things. Stop living life within the box that modern society has crafted for you and shatter those chains and break free of that box and begin to expand outward. But in order to do so, we must begin at the root of such things. And with fitness, you must begin to understand that the current societal structure of fitness isn't necessarily predicated on your success as a human being. It is predicated on social status and the current workings of society and what society has deemed as valuable. In today's episode, we will be attacking fitness from first principles. As with all things, you should begin at a first and beginning point. From here, we will venture off into other aspects of fitness, but we will begin and start with the principles. I hope you guys are ready for this week's episode of the Flow University YouTube channel. My name is Stefan Bolding. I will be your host moving forward, and I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. Some people say, give the customers what they want, but that's not my approach. Our job is to figure out what they're going to want before they do. Steve Jobs. This goes into key number 1 as we begin episode 12 of the Flow University YouTube channel. What is fitness? Now, for you, the viewer, a lot of individuals, when they engage with fitness or their first inclination of what fitness is comes from what they see on social media or on TV or from past experiences. If you never engaged with physical movement in a extraneous way in the beginning aspects of your life, then you might think that fitness is what you see going on in the gym, what you see going on in certain establishments. But I want to begin to change your understanding of fitness to something a lot more broader. And so beginning from first principles is a great way in order to do such a thing. So what a lot of individuals see when they begin to engage with fitness in modern society is they're seeing fitness from a box. So a lot of individuals, they confuse fitness with business. And a lot of times, especially here in the West, our viewpoints and our perspective isn't predicated on the fundamentals of things. It's predicated on the external viewpoint of things. And so a lot of times people think that, well, for me to do fitness, I have to go to a certain place, I have to do a certain thing, or I have to spend or get something in order to engage with my fitness, in order to get my fitness in. But this isn't necessarily what fitness is. So a lot of times what you want to do when you begin to engage with something is you want to take a step back and see, okay, what is this thing? Why am I viewing things this way? Where does this come from? So beginning to ask questions will help a lot of individuals out. And the reason for this episode and the reason for beginning from first principles is that there's so many individuals that they never begin to go on a venture of development. They never begin to go on a journey of progress because they do not believe that they have the resources, the knowledge, or the time in order to do such a thing. But you do have the time and you do have the understanding. But a lot of times you just have to shift from what you are viewing things and what you have viewed things to something of what is really going on. So this is the problem with ideologies, certain belief systems, and only predicating your understanding off of the past. Because when you only predicate things off of certain narrow points and angles, then you miss the broader sphere of what something is. So a lot of times this is what happens when individuals where they don't get a lot of experience or when they don't have a lot of knowledge. This makes it easier for you to be influenced by others, because others with the greater understandings, what will happen is they will begin to influence you to do certain things. So this is what's going on in social media. So on social media, a lot of times individuals that don't have a great understanding of fitness, what will happen is that they'll go to individuals who they believe have greater understandings and they'll take their word for it. And the problem with this is that when you take someone's word for something, you don't really get is what this person is doing and telling me, is this really helping me in my current situation? So a lot of times people we'll go to what a lot of people value in modern society. A lot of people in modern society value power, money, and status. And a lot of times when people want certain things, they go to the people who are at or in the top of their fields. And so when you go to someone who's reached mastery, this is very good because they can give you a lot of insight. But the problem sometimes is that that person is at such a high level that they're unable to reach you at where you're at. And so a lot of individuals, they think that, okay, this person online, they're doing this fitness thing and they're doing it this way and in this manner. And so this is how I think I should do fitness. And a lot of people might view that and be like, man, I can't do fitness this way. I can't do those movements. I can't look like this chick. I don't have the resources or the time in order to do this. And so they think, well, I can't do fitness then. There's no point. There's no reason for me even trying. And the problem with this is that it robs the person of the autonomy and the power and the self-sovereignty in order to take things and matters into their own hands. And so in this first key and in this entire episode, what we will be doing is we will be giving you that power and that self-autonomy in order for you to spark that own change. You're not going to need another person to tell you what to do, or you aren't going to need another person to give you profound insight. But all you'll need is you'll just need the willingness in order to step forward. That is all. And it's not going to take a lot of energy, time, money, or resources. It's just going to have that point where you're like, you know what? Enough is enough. Let's go. Let's do this. And so what is fitness? Well, fitness is a mechanism. Fitness is a concept. Fitness is a way for humans to develop and progress themselves. In order to understand this, you must go back to the beginning of human civilization, and even beforehand, when we as humans were nothing but monkeys swinging in trees. What did we as humans use fitness for? Well, fitness is just capability and ability, and the ability to do such things over a certain duration of time. And if you as a human being did not have a high capacity for capability and ability within the physical sphere, then unfortunately you would fall prey to predators, you would fall prey to natural disasters, or you might fall prey to Mother Earth. And so, or you might fall prey to diseases, you might not be able to collect resources, and it would be very hard for you to survive in the harsh realities of nature. And so if you had a low capacity and ability of fitness in the past, then what will happen is that you wouldn't really be able to survive very long. And so society, in our brilliance as humans, we have constructed society in the modern times in such a way that you don't need a high capacity and ability for physical fitness in order to survive, because society has created a bubble for humans to sustain themselves. But in the past, in ancient times, it wasn't like this. And so as we go forward in human history and understanding what fitness is, then we get to the time where, well, humans needed to protect themselves. Well, we can survive in nature and we have the ability and capacity in order to do things over long bouts of time. But now we need technique. We need efficiency. We need movement at high levels in different types of movement. Why? Well, yes, you can run from predators, but let's say you can't run from a predator anymore. Well, what's next? What are you going to do? What do you need fitness for? And this led to the creation of martial arts, because now the human has to protect itself. And what is it protecting itself from? It's protecting itself from other animals. It's protecting itself from even other humans. And so this is what led to martial arts. But also there's a healing component to it as well. Because when you understand what fitness is, then you're able to grasp that, oh, movement is medicine within reason. And so when you move, you're getting the blood to pump in other areas of the body that if you were just in stagnation, that blood flow and those nutrients wouldn't be able to get to. You're able to relax the muscle tissues. You're able to spark the nervous system. You're able to generate and build and embed new pathways. If you watch fighters or anyone who's very proficient in a martial art, what they're doing is they're programming their subconscious mind, they're programming their nervous system in order to do specific movements at an extremely high level. And you can do this when you truly understand what fitness is and you understand all the different aspects of fitness and you understand the spheres of fitness. Right now we're starting at first principles, but over time I'll give you guys a little bit more of the sauce. But when you understand these things, then you're able to understand that everything is movement. Everything is fitness. And so right now, I'm talking on the microphone. This is movement. My heart is beating. This is movement. The air is flowing. This is movement. This is fitness. This is something's ability and capacity to do something over a set duration of time. So once you understand this, then you can sit back and you go, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I don't just have to go to this place to do fitness. I can do fitness anywhere. The entire earth is a gym. It is a playground. It is something in a place for you to experience things, to learn how to maximize your physical survival, and not just your physical survival, but also you can protect yourself. Now, going back to past for humans, then we began to dive into, this led to martial arts, this led to militaries, this led to humans. Obviously in human nature, in our pride and our selfishness, this led to us fighting each other and engaging in wars. And you need fitness to do this because you need to be able to go through long bouts of strenuous activity if you are fighting and killing each other. But over time, after a lot of the more major wars, when ancient Greece and ancient Rome established themselves, this led to the creation of games, and this led to the need for performance. And so fitness started with survival, then it shifted to protection, and then it shifted to performance. So survival, protection, performance. That was kind of the keys for why we as humans created fitness. But moving forward, now in modern times, this kind of still is very equitable to everyday people, but a lot of individuals, they think fitness in the modern sphere is based off of appearance. So in modern society, everyone believes that fitness is predicated off of aesthetic, is predicated off of the outer shell of the body, is predicated off of how people's muscle tissue has formulated itself over the skeletal system, but it doesn't have any qualms about what's going on internally, what's going on with the vital organs, what's going on with the brain, what's going on with the inner chemicals, what's going on with the blood, how diluted or undiluted, how toxified or untoxified. Most individuals don't give two qualms about this. But for you, the individual, understanding what fitness is will aid you in understanding when you go into the gym environment, what you are seeing. Because most individuals, when they go into the gym, they have no idea what's going on. Some of them have previous inclinations of what's going on. They've gone through exercise or they know what exercising is. You don't need a doctor or a exercise physiologist to explain this to you. But a lot of individuals, when they go into environments, they believe that this is what they should be doing. And a lot of times when you begin to understand what fitness is, then you'll take a step back and you say, okay, now I understand what's going on in the modern aspect and what modern people are doing with fitness. But if you go from first principles, from what fitness is, then you go through the line and then you come to present day, then you're able to step back and say, oh, now I get it. the modern fitness industry isn't predicated on survival, protection, and performance. It's predicated off of aesthetic. And when you understand this, this is what most people are buying money and spending money and giving the resources for. Because what they want is they want to look as good as possible on the outer shell. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with maximizing your physical attractiveness and your beauty and your floraciousness and your attractivity. But the underlying detrimental effect is that it might be causing damage to the internal aspects of your body. And so when you realize this, then you're able to go into environments and you say, okay, I know what the modern aspect of what fitness is showcasing in modern society, because society values looks, power, money, and status. But is this actually going to be good for me and lead to my long-term success? And so in a previous episode, I said that so you are, as a human being, you are a 5-dimensional being. And so understanding fitness is a 5-dimensional concept when you truly understand what fitness is. Because you don't just have the physical sphere, you have the mental sphere, and then you have the spiritual sphere of existence and of being. Everything at its core is spiritual. So everything is spiritual and everything is mind. And to a degree, everything is physical. So when you begin to engage with fitness, it's like a tesseract. So you have the physical sphere of fitness, and there's 4 realms within that. But then you have the mental sphere of fitness, because again, starting from first principles, what is fitness? Fitness is one's capacity and ability to do something over a set duration of time. So this can just be your physical ability to run, walk, jump, do push-ups, do running, swimming, bicycling, but also how long can you think? How long can you talk? How long can you explain concepts? Because this gray matter in between your skull, this is also a physical aspect of your body. And so there's movement always is occurring. There's blood always flowing throughout the body. Blood flows into the brain. The nervous system, your CNS, goes from the brain down the spinal column and then out to the other aspects of the body. And then it attaches to the peripheral nervous system. So in essence, even the brain, mind is movement. So there is a fitness aspect attached to your mental functions. So how long can you think? What is your abilities? Do you have photographic memory? Do you have the ability to explain extremely in-depth concept? Do you have the ability to read for long bouts of time? And so what's your capacity? So now, then this goes to the spiritual sphere. So now you've gone physical, mental, spiritual. And so when you get to the spiritual sphere, now it's, okay, what is your will? What is your determination? What is your character? What is your mental, what is how tough are you? How much can you handle something? So now you've transcended, boom, 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 up. But now each is connected because everything is connected, especially if you study string theory. And then you're able to interchange each and then outlude from there. So now you've then created something that's far more beneficial for you. And fitness is a tool for us humans to use. This is why the collective created, I'm going to save that. We're going to go into key number 2. I was beginning to segue into key number 2. who created fitness? Well, the genome, God, everything created the need for fitness so that beings, organisms, could have the capacity and ability to improve themselves. So when you understand what fitness is, then you'll understand who created fitness. So there isn't one single person that created the entire sphere of fitness. Yes, you had individuals that gave a lot of time and attention to fitness, but it was the collective, the organism of human consciousness, the human will to survive, that led to this mechanism being created. So whenever there was a need for humans to progress, fitness is self-development. Fitness is self-help. Fitness is people trying to improve themselves. So when you get this, then you understand that, oh, fitness is just us as humans trying to work and better ourselves and evolve. Fitness is the evolution of us as humans, the species, because each iteration of fitness continues to grow and progress. Now, in the modern understanding of fitness, you must understand that the way society is structured, society doesn't, I explained in the episode, all of the knowledge, resources, and understanding is at the top of society. And for you, the individual, a lot of humans, they fall in the middle or low points of society, the masses. It is what it is. It's sad, but this is why I'm creating these videos, so that this understanding, this insight, and this understanding can be given to you, so you can begin to work and improve yourselves. There's something called eugenics, where humans are selecting the best traits and DNA qualities, and then having their children based off of that at the top of society. So it's getting more and more, and the aspects of society is stringing more and more, so that it's almost creating a split. And so there needs to be a great equalizer. And the great equalizer is understanding, because all humans are equal at our core, and there needs to be equal opportunity. And equal opportunity only comes when the same opportunity is provided to each person. But if certain individuals are given the opportunity of knowledge, resources, power, and status, and other individuals are not, then are things really equal? It is not. And so knowledge is extremely powerful. So when you understand what fitness is, and you're understanding who created fitness, then you're able to sit back and like, okay, cool. I need to start working on myself, because not only are you working on improving your physical body, but now you're working on improving your mind. And then you begin to work on improving your spirit, your soul. And then this will lead to an elevation and a development and a transcension of you as a human being. And so you can gain more and more ground. For a lot of you individuals, the problem isn't that you're at this low point or you're this. No, the problem is that you believe this. And because you have this belief, what is a belief? A belief is just someone's inclination or perspective of a thing based off of past experience, knowledge, and understanding. But that is just one small viewpoint of what is a greater viewpoint if you had multiple perspective and multiple understandings. And so when this comes for you, then you're like, okay, cool. Now I get it. Now I know what needs to be done. I might not have to go to a gym, and I might not have to go get a degree, but at the very least, I have to improve my capacity and ability to do things over a set duration of time. And so for you, you can create what you want fitness to be for yourself. You don't necessarily need other people to tell you what you need fitness to be or how fitness should look. Modern society paints fitness to be in a box because the workings of society is predicated off of business and also is predicated off of the transference of resources. So yes, if you are needing fitness in order to get resources and bring resources to yourself, then you need to put fitness into a box so that people can engage with it quicker, so that they can give you resources, so that you can extract resources, and then you can have what you want. But that's fine and dandy as long as you're trying to help people. But not everyone is in the business of helping people. Some people are in the business of just getting rich and famous. So when you begin to understand what fitness is and you understand who created fitness, this will aid you in a huge bout of progression. And this goes into key number 3. Why do humans need fitness? Now, I said these in the other two keys, but we need fitness to survive. Now, I want you to take a step back, and I said this in the last episode, but the current structure of modern society is so far removed from what we as humans were just living 100 years ago that most people do not question how things currently are. And so we've disconnected with nature, we've disconnected with our bodies, and most people do not have mastery over their minds. Now, the problem with this is that this leads to you being influenced by others. It makes it extremely easy because when you are connected with nature, then you have a greater understanding of what does your body need? How should your body sustain itself? And then if you're able to connect to your body, you're able to listen to what your body is telling you. A lot of times, individuals, you don't need to do Google. You don't need to hire all these people. If you just took a step back and did some internal reflection, you could, all right, cool. My stomach is upset. I'm having an upset stomach. And what did I eat yesterday? Whoa, I ate this burger from the shop that had all this stuff on it. Man, maybe I shouldn't have ate this burger. Maybe there was something heavily processed in there, and it's taking my body a long time to process this thing. So because it's taking a long time for my body to process this thing, it's backing up my internal organs. And so my body isn't able to get all the waste out of it. So it's leading to cramping in the internal musculature within there because the muscles that are around it is overworking. So, man, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that. Or now you're like, dang, like it's hard for me to think. Every time I try to do some very, hard and strenuous work and focus and my memory's been jacked up. Yeah, but you've been putting all this bad toxicity into your body. And so your body, the energy that would be going upward, the conscious energy that would be in your mind, helping your mind to work and operate and using the brain as a conduit in order for you to extract these thoughts, in order for you to engage in more high cognitive work. Instead, that's being focused on digesting that big piece of pizza you had. So there's nothing wrong with, eating junk food and stuff like that within reason if you have balance. But there's a yin and a yang, there's a give and a take. And so you have to understand that for everything, there's a price that has to be paid. So you have to sacrifice some things. So why do humans need fitness? We need fitness in order to work at our max efficiency and our max capacity and to fully be and operate. A lot of times, this is the reason why so many people are disconnected with God, with nature, with their body, with themselves, is that they are unwilling to engage with certain things that would help them out. And so a lot of times the salvation, the thing that would save you, is a lot of times right at your feet. So you'll go into a gym and you'll be working with a trainer, and the trainer will say, hey, when you begin to do any movement, always focus on your feet and then go up the kinetic chain. The kinetic chain it starts with your feet, then goes your knees, hips, and then rest in your upper body. And so a lot of individuals, a lot of times, them just learning about themselves, learning about their body, it has to start from the feet. But a lot of individuals, they're unwilling to even begin there. So a lot of times you have to begin in the beginning and then go upward. This is what this episode is. It's beginning at the beginning, and then we're working upward. We're working and we're improving towards something. But we can't do that if people are unwilling. So why do humans need fitness? We need fitness because we need to continue to improve and grow and progress. Modern society is getting more and more complex. And technology is improving at a faster and faster rate. And a lot of times, the physical is connected to the mental. The science has proven this, that the more physical fit someone is, the higher likelihood of their mental aspects working improves as well. And if you don't work on the physical, it will disrupt, and you'll have a great problem working with the mental. Now, you can be born, because everyone's born with different abilities and different capabilities. So you might be born with a high cognitive ability, or you might be born with a low cognitive ability, but this can be improved. Don't allow people in society to tell you that this is how you're born and this is how you're going to stay. One, that's a lie. Because if everyone knew the truth, if everyone had the knowledge, the experience, and the understanding and the insight, then they wouldn't believe what a lot of individuals are saying. You're born this way. You'll be like this for the rest of your life, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're robbed of all your power and all your autonomy and all your sovereignty. Go ahead, bend your knees, and submit to all of the higher people within society, because we were born this way. We were born in this position. You should just listen to us. We'll take care of all your needs and do all this. But then at the same time, you'll be judged because you are this way. You'll be cast down and seen as less than because you are this way. And then if you try to improve, you'll be outcasted because you're trying to improve yourself. But then also, such individuals, they're not trying to help the individuals who they're supposed to be lording over. They're just doing what they want to do. And then what happens to everyone else is essentially no bars hold. It is what it is. And then because the string is getting pulled further and further and further and further and further and further, hey, there's too many people on the planet. Hey, there's not enough money to go around. Well, not enough money to go around who? See, when you begin to understand what fitness is, and you begin to understand the current structure of modern society, and you begin to understand your place as a human being, and you begin to understand self, and you understand all these different aspects and all these different things, then you sit back and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Let me start improving my ability and capacity over a set duration of time. Because you're being lied to. You're being lied to on purpose to keep you in an unconscious state. Because if you're unconscious, then it's easy to program you. It's easier to influence you. It's easier to direct you and get you to do certain things. But if you're highly conscious, if you're highly aware, and you have the ability to work on and improve yourself, and you have the openness and the willingness to be wrong in certain things, then you'll be able to see, okay, cool, this is what I should be doing. This is what I should not be doing. And this is where society is going. And if society is going this way, but I understand the first principles of what fitness is and the keys of it, then you'll go, okay, cool, they can do this, but I'm going to do this because this is actually going to help and improve me. Because a lot of times what will happen is that unconscious humans come together. And when unconsciousness is around unconsciousness, you get a grand sphere of darkness. And so when you are in a grand sphere of darkness, people don't question things. People they give into suggestion. They give into influences. And so they'll do things, but don't understand why they're doing it. People will wear Nike. They'll wear Adidas. I wear Nike and Adidas, but I'm using this as an example. They'll wear things because, well, I saw this person wearing it and this person's super cool. So I'm going to wear this because this person's wearing it. But they don't question, well, why is this person wearing this? Where did they get this from? How did they get the material? Who created the material? How did this thing get to me? I'm just going to get this thing. But not understanding that even though this person has the outer sphere of looking this way, this might not be how they are. And so society is inverted. Up is down, down is up, right is left, left is right. But humans, and this has happened within modern society, so that the average everyday human gives in to certain things, but there's no question about what's going on. Like, you drive down the street and you see all these restaurants and you see all these fast food places, and they look good. They have all the bells and whistles. They have the greatest experience in the world, but the food is bad for you. The food will literally make you dumber, but not only make you dumber, it will lead to diseases. So you're sacrificing your mental ability, your physical livelihood, and your ability. So understanding this, you take a step back and you say, okay, cool. Maybe, hey, you can, I'm not saying you can't go to this place or eat this thing, but you gotta be conscious about it. You gotta say, man, maybe I shouldn't turn off right now. Maybe I should be like, okay, cool. Why am I doing this? What is this? Ask questions. You'll go more further, and even if you don't have the knowledge, the willingness to ask questions will at least lead to inquiry and seeking and perhaps discovery. Then knowledge can occur. Knowledge doesn't just have to be given. Knowledge can also be discovered. Sticking with first principles. Before teachers, how did humans learn things? See, a lot of humans believe within modern society that they have to go to a certain place, do a certain thing, or engage with things in a certain way in order to attain something. But if you go to the root, if you go to the first, and then you go from there, then your understanding grows and you say, oh, I don't have to do this. There's another way that this can be done. And so, how do you maximize your fitness? Well, you can maximize your fitness by gearing your fitness towards your unique needs. And so, the problem in modern society is that the individual has been boiled down to caricatures. Watch The Simpsons, watch Family Guy, watch The Cleveland Show, watch all these modern animated sitcoms, watch TV. But don't watch TV from an unconscious standpoint for simple enjoyment. Watch TV from a place of inquiry to sit back and go, oh, okay, they're making fun of you guys. They're making fun of the average everyday human. And this is how a lot of people view certain people, and even in business and even in fitness. And so they boil humans down to these tight little boxes of identification, but they fail to see the complexity and the inherent uniqueness that is within each and every individual. And the problem with this is that they then give you guys things and say, this is all you need. I have all the answers, in arrogance and pride. But when you understand that you are a unique, multidimensional being having a human experience, then there really is no one that can give you all of your needs. There's no woman, man, teacher that can give you all of the things you need. You know what you need. But a lot of people have to have the willingness in order to give themselves what they need. And you have the willingness, you have the strength, but you lie and delude yourself. You create a fantasy that you are unable, but you are able. I can't exercise. Yes, you can. You could sit on the couch and flail your arms around and get your heart rate up. And congratulations, you just exercised. And so there really isn't any excuses. I don't like eating that kind of food. Well, what is food? What is good food? How do you cook good food? How do you make seemingly untasty food tasteful? You can create a wonderful life for yourself. You can create and have so much progress, and you can develop yourself into a beautiful human being. In order to be, you must become. In order to become, you must do. And this requires action. And you are always in action. But in what way, in what manner, and in what direction are you going? Is your action leading you to progress, or is your action leading you to death? So, how do you maximize fitness? Well, you do what you need to do for yourself. That is how you maximize your fitness. A lot of times, individuals will go to a millionaire to become a millionaire. And while this is good advice, the millionaire is from a standpoint of being a millionaire, but you might not be a millionaire. You might only be making $12 an hour. So who should you take advice from? The millionaire or the person who's making $50,000? You see where this is going? You have to progress and go up the ladder. You can't go from 0 to 100. You might kill yourself. View any person in the gym, even the newbie. The newbie can't just start doing CrossFit, doing burpees and backflips and step-ups. No, you got to start slow, start subtle, do what you can do. Even David Goggins, I brought him up a couple times. He didn't just start running 100 miles. He became Superman. He became Goggins by doing action, consistently moving in a set direction. And over time, he built the capacity and the ability to run those long bouts and those long miles. Andrew Huberman. He didn't just come out of nowhere and start spitting on the mic. He sat down and he studied for years, doing experiments for years, writing research papers, going through the thick of it. And then he gained the ability and capacity to sit down and spit on the mic. Me talking to you guys. I didn't just sit here and start talking. I've been doing work for years. But you can build the same thing. There's so many humans that sell themselves short, and they immediately get frustrated and they start hating people that have attained certain abilities and capabilities, but not understanding that we used to suck. Just like, I'm not saying you guys suck, but I'm saying that there was a time when we literally sucked. I quit on the football field. I was so bad and out of shape, even as being a college athlete, that I gave up on a hill and walked off. Now, I came back and I was able to, I'm writing a book, you guys should read it, and I might create an episode on what happened, but I was able to completely turn things around, and now I can run like an hour and a half, but that takes time. There's so much struggle, but what'll happen is that you'll crystallize into something that is magnificent. Diamonds come under pressure, and I'm not telling you guys that you have to literally be under tumultuous amounts of pressure. The pressure doesn't have to start at 100% initially. Just little things. Jordan Peterson, yo, clean your room up. That's it. Make your bed. We're not telling you to save the planet. We're not telling you to go fight a war. Start little things. And I'm telling you, over time, you'll become this dog, this amazing human. And we need more humans like this, especially in today's world. Not everyone wants the greater good for humanity. And there are people that exist that will literally do whatever it takes to get what they want, even if it means crushing you. Just because Germany was destroyed doesn't mean people like that don't exist. The Nazi regime was an ideology and nationality, but it was the soul of the humans that people need to take into account. So how do you maximize your fitness? You do what you got to do in any shape, way, form, or fashion. Work out in your garage, work out in your living room, work out in your bedroom. If you got to do it on the couch, it doesn't matter. If you need a trainer, hire a trainer. If you don't need a trainer, who cares? If you want to do a pool workout, you want to hop on a bike, you want to walk on a treadmill, you want to swing in the trees, no one cares, bro. Do what you got to do. But a lot of times what will happen within the fitness industry is that people will judge people because they're not doing this certain workout or they're not engaging with fitness in this certain way. It's no different from religion. It's no different from nationality. It's literally like a cult. So it doesn't matter. And when you understand this, then you sit back and you're like, all right, I don't have to get into all that. I can just be me and do me and I'll be good. So going into the last key, when did fitness become a part of everyday life? Fitness has always been a part of everyday life for humans since the very beginning. And going all the way back to the first single-celled organism. The first single-celled organism had to have the capability and ability to survive over a set duration of time. If it didn't, we wouldn't be here. And going forward, fitness still operates this way for us. Now, because we've mastered certain aspects of ourselves and society has given people the blessing in order to have freedom to do what they want, we humans can go off and engage with fitness in different ways and in different ventures. We can focus on our physical attractiveness. We can focus on performance. We can focus on martial arts. But fitness is always a part of what you're doing in everyday life. From the moment you wake up, you couldn't wake up without fitness. So in understanding this, when you begin to engage with fitness, come from a different understanding, come from a different perspective, come from first principles. And this will aid you in beginning to improve all of the different areas of your life and your health and wellness. Because who wants to live in a beautiful world but have a decaying body? And while your body is getting older and older, you can impact how such a thing happens. You don't just have to immediately turn to dust. I know individuals who, I'm 25, I know individuals who are around my age and it's sad. They've already given up. They've already submitted. I hear people all the time tell me, I'm 25, I'm old. I'm 30, I'm old. I'm 40, I'm old. I'm 50, I'm old. Why are you calling yourself old? Who created age? Age is just a concept. It's a construct. Time, same thing. For us to relate to the external environment. That doesn't have anything to do with your physical aspects or apparatus. There's individuals, I was watching a podcast the other day. I read a book about how you can do reverse aging. But people give into certain things. They give into certain viewpoints, certain mindsets. Don't let this be you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode of the Flow University YouTube channel. Thank you all for joining me today and diving into the world of fitness from first principles. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and stay blessed.